All right, let's just get right into it. We're talking about a true legend today, the third generation Mazda RX-7, the FD3S. You know, this is a car that was only sold for 3 years here in America, kind of got forgotten, and then boom, 30 years later, the internet decides it's the most beautiful Japanese sports car ever made. Prices went through the roof, and now it's holy grail status. So the big question is this a dream car, or is it just a mechanical nightmare you can't wake up from? And that, right there, that's the whole story. That's the joke every single owner knows by heart. You buy the ticket, you know exactly what ride you're about to get on, so it really makes you wonder, why would anyone sign up for this?
So how did we even get here? Well, Mazda yanked the FD from the US market back in '95. Honestly, people just couldn't get their heads around an engine that seemed designed to self-destruct. But, you know, time, plus a whole lot of video games and a million Instagram posts have been very, very kind to its design. And just like that, it's become a blue-chip collector car.
And this is what it's going to cost you to get in the door today. 35 grand? That'll get you a project car that probably needs, well, everything. But on the high end, for a really clean R1 model or one of those super sought-after JDM Spirit R imports, yeah, you're looking at way over 100 grand. The point is, this isn't a cheap way to get a fast car anymore. Not even close. It's a serious investment.
Okay, to understand the price tag, the passion, and especially the pain, you have to understand the heart of this thing. Because it's not just an engine. For the people who love it, it's basically a religion. And its gospel is all about the spinning rotor.
So forget everything you know about a normal engine. Seriously, there are no pistons going up and down, no camshafts, no valves opening and closing. Instead, you've got these two little triangles just spinning away inside these funky oval-shaped housings. It's elegant, it's compact, and it is an incredibly clever piece of engineering.
And this right here really shows you the difference. A piston engine is all about violent back-and-forth motion. A rotary is just smooth, constant spinning. That means fewer moving parts and, in theory, a smoother engine that can rev to the moon. But here's the catch. See where it says apex seals instead of piston rings? Yeah, that one little detail, that changes absolutely everything.
But Mazda didn't just stop there. Oh no, they went and bolted the world's first mass-produced sequential twin-turbo system to it. So you've got this tiny turbo to get you going. And then, right at 4,500 RPM, bam, a much bigger turbo kicks in with this huge wave of power. And get this, all of that comes from just 1.3 liters screaming all the way to an 8,000 RPM redline.
And the sound, the sound is just unforgettable. It's not a growl, it's not a roar. It's this high-pitched, almost angry buzzsaw that builds into a piercing whistle when that second turbo comes alive. It's alien, it's addictive, and I promise you, there is nothing else on the road that sounds anything like it.
Okay, so that's the magic. Now, it's time for the brutal, expensive reality. This is the trial by fire that every single FD owner will go through. And trust me, there are no exceptions.
I want you to look at this number. Burn it into your brain. This is the cost of a standard engine rebuild. It is not an if, it is a when. You should honestly just add this to the purchase price of the car in your head, because it is absolutely non-negotiable.
This is the rotary engine's original sin. Those apex seals at the tips of the rotors, they just wear down. And as they do, the engine loses compression until one day it just won't start anymore. But here's the cruelest part of all. Buying a low-mileage car doesn't save you. Nope. Rotaries that sit for a long time develop carbon deposits that can jam the seals, which is every bit as bad as high-mileage wear. The clock is always ticking.
And that is not a joke. You can't just take this car to any old shop. You need a specialist, a guru, someone who actually understands the dark arts of the spinning Dorito. You're not just buying a car, you're joining a very, very tight-knit community, basically bound together by shared trauma and triumph.
But the apex seals? That's just where the fun begins. The FD is a whole symphony of potential failures. Heat is instant death for a rotary, and the stock cooling system is, well, it's barely adequate for a warm day. The turbos are controlled by this terrifying spiderweb of vacuum hoses called the rat's nest, and when, not if, those old rubber hoses crack, the boost just goes haywire. A clogged catalytic converter will choke the engine, and dead fuel injectors mean you won't even know there's a problem until your engine is already starving for fuel at high RPM.
So yeah, owning one means you have to adopt a whole new set of rituals.
You'll be changing 4 spark plugs all the time. You absolutely have to use old-school mineral oil, not modern synthetics, because they can leave behind deposits that gunk up the apex seals. Oh, and the engine is designed to burn oil for lubrication, so you'll be checking your dipstick constantly. And hey, if you ever see one for sale with the optional 4-speed automatic, just turn around and walk away. Seriously.
So after hearing all that, you have to be asking yourself, why on God's green earth would anyone sign up for this kind of punishment? Well, because when the engine is actually working, the rest of the car delivers an experience that is nothing short of pure redemption.
The payoff is the drive. The FD chassis is an absolute masterpiece. That compact little engine allows for a perfect 50-50 weight distribution and a super low center of gravity. The steering, it feels alive. It talks to you, tells you everything the road is doing. It handles with a kind of purity that modern cars with all their computers just can't replicate. And I mean, come on, just look at it. It's beautiful. And honestly, the community is a huge part of it too. It's a whole army of fanatics who have figured out how to solve almost every problem this car has.
Okay, so what we have here is a masterpiece with a ticking time bomb right under the hood. So how does it stack up against its legendary rivals from the golden age of JDM sports cars?
This chart kind of says it all, doesn't it? But look at that last column, soul. The Supra's 2JZ engine is bulletproof, but the car is heavier, more of a GT cruiser. The NSX has that Honda reliability, but it's not as raw. The 300ZX, it's complex, it's heavy. The RX-7 has the worst reliability on this list by a mile, but it arguably has the most character, the most driver involvement. It has the most soul.
And that brings us to our verdict. This is not an easy one. It's not a buy. It's not a buy. For the Mazda RX-7 FD, the only possible verdict is a huge, flashing, conditional maybe.
This car is only for a very specific type of person. It's for you if you can completely reframe your thinking. The engine rebuild isn't a failure. It's just a scheduled service item. A really, really expensive service item. You need a separate savings account just for this car. And at the end of the day, you have to value that incredible driving feel more than your own financial well-being.
So, if you're the right kind of crazy and you still want one, here's how you do it. Look for a later model JDM import because they have a bunch of factory upgrades. The best car to buy is actually one that's already had a recent documented engine rebuilt from a famous specialist. That way, your 60,000-mile countdown starts with you. And unless it's a one-owner garage queen with a binder full of receipts, be very, very careful with those U.S. market cars. They've lived hard lives.
And that's really the question you're left with, isn't it? It's a car that gives you one of the most special, most rewarding driving experiences on the planet, powered by an engine that is actively trying to tear itself apart from the inside. Is that brief moment of ecstasy worth the agony and the expense? For a very select few, the answer is, and always will be, yes.